You can argue about whether this is cold brew or not. In fact, it's probably not, but it's a pretty good substitute for espresso if you don't have an espresso machine. In all honesty, I'm not a fan of cold brew. In fact, I kind of don't like it at all. I feel like the far better iced coffee drink is an iced pour over. But I ran into a problem where I needed an espresso substitute, which is very commonly cold brew, especially for iced lattes. But with my test of a regular cold brew recipe, I wasn't satisfied, so this is the one I came up with. So it's all gonna happen in your French press, which is a very great method for home making cold brew, but I've modified the process a lot. The first one is a ratio modification. So to get as close to espresso as possible, we're gonna do a 1:4 coffee to water ratio. Traditionally, you'll see a lot of cold brew recipes be 1:8, and that's as a concentrate, but this is gonna be an ultra concentrate. I'm gonna start with my French press, and I'm gonna load in 60 grams of coffee. You can scale this up to however much or as little as you want, but I already have that pre-dosed out. Now for your grind size for this coffee, you're actually gonna wanna keep it pretty medium coarse. You're not gonna wanna go as coarse as traditional cold brew. I actually just kept it what I have it for pour over, and I'll show you why in a second. So the first thing we're gonna do is actually bloom it with hot water. So we're gonna do double the amount of coffee that we did with hot water. So in my case, that's gonna be 120 grams. I'm just gonna get in here, saturate all the grounds, and we'll give this a swirl. The benefit of doing this hot bloom is it's going to extract the coffee flavors more than cold water. We're just gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes. So our 5 minutes are up, and we're gonna do the last part of our ratio, but I'm gonna give this a little bit of a swirl first. So the last part of our ratio is gonna be ice. I'm gonna do, again, 120 grams of ice. We'll drop that right in. And then we'll give this a swirl to try and melt the ice. As this ice melts, it's gonna bring us to our 1:4 ratio, which was our coffee to water ratio. We just split the coffee into hot water and ice. And then this is done. You can just squeeze it out. Now you can treat this as normal cold brew. You can dilute it based on the 1:4 ratio. So basically you'll just take this. So I recommend 2 ounces, and then you'll multiply that by 4, so 8 ounces of water, which will give you a 10-ounce cold brew, which is also would be a 1:16 ratio. Or you can take those same 2 ounces and put it in milk and make a latte. And it's actually, if you don't have an espresso machine, it's a pretty decent substitute. Is it espresso? No. But it's close, and it's pretty easy to do. And fast. You don't have to wait 24 hours, 16 hours for cold brew. You can do this in under 10 minutes, and that's awesome. This is probably gonna last you about a week in your fridge. What I would suggest is straining this out into another glass jar so it's not sitting in these grounds for 2 weeks. That's gonna get a little funky. Anyways, I hope you try this. If you do, let me know what it's like in the comments below.